That should get scrap metal. That's a lot of money. No, that should go to the borough. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, we are reconvening at 9:14 after an executive session. There is no action from that executive session. However, if you go back to our agenda, I skipped over the Borough Manager's report. That was in your binder under your tab for Borough Manager, so if anybody has any questions for Mr. Pepe or if you have anything further for us this evening, now's your chance.
How about the member of the press there?
Obviously, you had the significant revenues and expenses that I'm sure you all looked at in detail. The one thing we actually didn't really mention in our 5 or 6 community minute things today is the Ride to Conquer Cancer is this weekend.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot.
Setup starts on Wednesday. They have 450 riders somewhere in there.
Wow.
2 weeks ago, they raised $2.9 million in New York or in Washington D.C. So they have some big corporate sponsors. I have a feeling that is it the Abrahams, whoever sponsors the center down at the university. I believe that family's going to be here for that event. I think that they have some very large sponsors for that event. So
It's the Abramson Cancer Center.
yeah, so the Abramson family, we believe will be in attendance as one of the sponsors of the event, which is great. They also have some other large corporate sponsors. We're essentially being contracted out for a little bit of work from their security company. They're paying for all of that, so we'll send a bill. Our public works guys, we're going to run electric for them, but they're bringing generators in instead. So they're bringing all their tents and starting setup on Wednesday. The last thing I have for you, unless you have any questions on that, but I just want to let you know that Crayola is doing a commercial for a new foam crayon type of product. This week, they wanted to use Community Park, and I told them they obviously couldn't. I mean, it's a public park, so they don't need any kind of permits, but they will probably be down at Borough Line doing the commercial. But apparently Crayola has a new crayon or foam product coming out.
You're going to scribble all over courts and stuff?
Well, it's supposedly completely washable. It's supposed to like flake right off. I'm not really too familiar with it, but they're creating the commercial this week.
Why don't they do it at the farmers market where all the kids are?
Well, they want green space because I actually mentioned to them about down here at the triangle,
Yeah.
or the farmers market or something like that. But they're really looking for like basketball court area, green space area. They want some grass in their shots. So they seem to think that probably Kiwanis and William Street will be their ticket since Community Park won't work this
Wait,
week.
Borough Line, or you just said?
Or I'm sorry,
Kiwanis?
Not Borough Line.
Kiwanis.
William Street, Kiwanis.
Okay.
Okay.
Not Borough Line. I apologize. So they'll be down at Kiwanis. Other than that, progress. Do you have anything
Saturday
else
for
for me?
that?
Excuse me?
Did you say Saturday for that?
No, they were going to do it on the 10th, but supposedly it's supposed to rain on the 10th, so it might be moved to Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not really
Oh, okay.
sure. So.
Shane, can you just give everyone a heads up? I know you've been working really hard on the budget. When I know you don't go to a Parkland football game and you're at home working on the budget, I know you're putting in a lot of extra hours because that's the weekend you're working on it.
Yeah.
So where are we at as far? I know you're 2 weeks ahead of schedule, but where are we going to be at as far as bringing department heads and stuff in here? Is it still on that schedule that we had?
Yeah, I'm at the point now where it's 20-hour days to get this thing done. Because I don't know why I decided to give this to you on October 17th, but that completely messes everything else up for me as far as submissions. We are on schedule though. You're going to have a budget in your hands on October 17th. Understand that normally you don't get that until about November 3rd, somewhere in there. So that preliminary budget, you cannot use that preliminary budget as gospel, as we always know, because we have finalized numbers coming. The nice thing is I already have all the insurance information that came in today, as far as liability, workers' comp, that kind of thing. I'm still waiting on the new mod for workers' comp, so that may change slightly. But all the liability stuff came in today as far as for the renewal because it's going to be a January to January.
Refuse?
Refuse, we know.
Right.
We know we know a lot of the things that we're always waiting until like November. Like where's it coming? I have a meeting with The health care insurance company, PIMIC. I want to say Monday or Tuesday, so we're going to know what our renewal numbers are for healthcare before you see the submission. So most of that stuff that I'm usually pushing in November to try to get in, we're already going to have. So October 28th, I believe it is still your first workshop. That is the budget, the department managers workshop. Then you're not going to meet again for about 2 weeks after that. I think it's like the 13th of November. I think is your next. But then we go hard. Yeah, we go like the 13th. Then you're going to see.
Then we get into the hoagie season.
Yeah, well, you're going to see the Hoagies on the 28th. But I think it's the 13th, and then I think it's like the 18th, the 20th.
That was funny.
And hopefully by the 20th we're done. But if not, the 25th will be that workshop that if we're there on the 25th, that's because we're in bad shape. Okay. Right now, we're trying to work on, we went over salary information today. We're going to need to meet in some executive sessions as far as certain employees. We're going to be finalizing things in the next week, and quite honestly, when I give you, let me ask you this: do you want me to do the same thing I did last year? And that is, with all their requests, I threw them in all the capital stuff. So all the capital that they gave me, I threw them in, and then we just, we do it like we always do on the board, but we'll just eliminate it as we go. So that way you're going to see a budget that's nowhere close to balance. It'll be
No,
$2
Shane,
million off.
I always appreciate that, but I also appreciate if they prioritize saying, we need this.
Yeah.
And this is a wish list. Then
And
there's
you're
a
going to
wish
see,
list.
yeah, you're going to see. I believe I got that from every one of them.
Yeah.
Here's our
I mean,
priority
that makes
list.
it so much easier. You say, okay, if we have extra money, then we go down to the wish list.
Yeah.
But that doesn't usually happen.
No.
That'll never happen.
Unless he pulls more money out of you-know-what.
Yeah. Do it, Shane.
The air.
Do it, Shane.
Copper wire.
I don't know. I don't know how much. I don't know how much more I can pull.
Mr. Barrett.
Shane, so how the numbers that you sent us by email of what the potential for the insurance would be, was that it? It didn't have it just showed
I
numbers,
think I
but
accidentally sent that email. Are you talking about like just the other day?
Yeah.
I was trying to forward the other one,
okay.
which I sent like 30 seconds after that.
Okay.
But I did.
It didn't have a comparable, so I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
I
you,
did
is that
get the-
high or low, or?
I did get the right numbers today. The high or low for what?
No, I mean, were we saving money? Was it the same as what we expected?
For insurance,
Yes.
we're right about the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a comparable, so.
You got to remember, so the workers' comp is in the $144,000 range. The only way that's going to go up is if our mod goes up.
Right.
Now, we did have that one major injury this year, but the bad 2009, 2010 year comes off.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We're past that.
that should offset. If we stay right at 1.0, we're at $144,000. That's a $206,000 savings.
Hallelujah.
The garbage, the refuse, you're looking at $780-some thousand or something like that, as opposed to 1.19 million. So, how much of that are you going to give back? What's our impact on capital? What's our impact on major items? All that stuff is sitting in front of us again. So, I'm going to give you the full scale budget message. I'm going to give you all the calculations that I do every year. You'll get your hard copy, and I'll give you a CD copy of everything. Okay, so you'll have an electronic copy. The other thing is on Wednesday we have. I sent you an email about an event at 4:30 in the afternoon. You're all invited to that. I invite you to attend.
Are we meeting in the parking lot?
Yeah, in the off Klein.
Are we going through the whole building again?
Yes.
Or just, okay.
Yes. All right.
4:30.
Yeah.
4:30.
We all get our own office?
You could have 2 or 3.
No thanks.
Anybody have anything further for the manager?
Just a motion to adjourn.
If not, who has the motion? Motion to adjourn by Mr. Barrett. Is there a second?
Barrett.
Nobody wants to go home? Second by Mr. Lavenberg. Discussion. All those in favor? Got 7 ayes. We are adjourned at 9:25.
Nothing was.
Good night.